Hello everyone, welcome to Ajiro Tech. Ajiro Tech. In this video, you're going to be learning the Cambridge International AS and A Level Information Technology, the course code 9626, variant 02. Paper 2 practical, and this is for the AS students. February-March 2023. Duration for the whole paper is 2 hours 30 minutes. Okay. The instructions are important, so please go to the instructions. Total mark for this paper is 90. You have been supplied with the following source files, right? That's also you've been supplied with. You would create a spreadsheet for a tiler to calculate the numbers of tiles required to tile a wall. You must use the most efficient method to solve each task. All documents produced must be of a professional standard and suit the business context. Create a spreadsheet that looks like this. So we need to create a spreadsheet that looks like this. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So what are we saving it with? We're saving it with tiles. So let me just copy this first. Come here. I need to extract this. Okay. Extract all. So this video, we are looking at the spreadsheet, right? All right. So let me do this. I'm going to open this. And right here, just change the view to this. Come here to new. Microsoft Excel worksheet. And I'll paste it. And then this is my center number. AN017. I'm using 2025 because all the videos I'll be doing is been 2025. All right. Okay, so I'm going to open this. So this is what center number, candidate number. So I will need to take a screenshot of all this. So let me do this. Let me zoom out a bit so I can take a screenshot. Or just come to my print screen and then do this. I want to create a spreadsheet that looks like this. So let me do this first. Okay. And then I'll paste this that I've taken the screenshot. I can just reduce it. It's fine. So let me reduce it a bit. And then I can do this real quick. So I have tie calculator, uh, A3 length of wall. I have 3. I have in meters. Height of wall. I have 2. I have in meters. Here is there. You have to type it exactly the way it is. Is there a window? Tie size. Then tie orientation. Then length of window 1 meters. Height of window 1 meter. Horizontal tie size. I have it in centimeters. Vertical tie size. Tie. I have it in centimeters. Then I have number of tie. And then there's a dash, no window. I have number of ties. I have with window. A candidate. Take my cursor here. So this is going to be your candidate details. So this is going to be this AN07 2025. Now normally I was supposed to post this, but I want you to see me when I'm typing this, right? So you can also, okay, so what do I do here? So I'm going to merge this. So let's have an information of what they said to look like this. So they give us a hint, format the merge cell A1 to C1. So I have A1 to C1. I'll come here to home. Let me pin this. So let me pin this. Always show ribbon. And then I would merge it. Yes. What else did they give us again? To have a 36-point font on a red background. 36. And then on a red background. And what again? A white text. You get it? White. Center align all cells in column B. Replace the text in A19 with your name, stand number, account number. I've done that. So all in column B should be what? Okay, let me do this so it doesn't confuse you. Let me adjust this. Yes. And then adjust this a bit. Adjust this a bit. So here, column B should be center line. Done. Those are the informations they provided for us. They didn't provide us with any other information. So we have to figure out the rest ourselves, right? How cool is that? So I have this 36. So this is going to be right. And this is bold. Can you see that? Bold. Okay, so this is done. Let's look at this. This is Calibri. Was it? I think it's the Aptos. No, it's not the Aptos. And it's not Times New Roman. I'm very sure of that. Let me see area. It's not area. So it's a different font. So you don't have to mind it. I think it's still sans serif, but maybe a different font. So you can just proceed. Yeah, I think the difference is just the A, really. So I think we can just proceed with that. All right, so let's go ahead. So just leave it at Calibri. So let's go ahead. So now we have all this. If you look at this, right align. The same thing with your candidate details. So everything here is right align. Done. And this as well is center align. So we need to adjust it. So I'll come here and I'm going to adjust column A, adjust column B a bit, adjust column C. Now if you look at the where the T is, I can adjust B a bit, adjust C a bit, so it's fine, right? So that's fine. So length of the wall, height of the wall is there window, tight size. I'm ensuring that I don't make any mistakes, spelling mistakes. Length of window, height of window, horizontal title size, vertical title size, number of titles dash no window, number of titles dash with window, and yes, so we've done this. So the next thing is row 2, row 5, hold my control, row 6 rather, row 9, row 12, and then row 15. What else again? Yes, that's all. So now we're going to adjust it with the same font, with the same size given. Can you see that? Because they're all highlighted together. So I'll make this 16. Yeah, 16 is fair. Yeah, 16 is fair. Okay, 16 is fine. All right, so we have this. So I think this is this. I'm going to delete this. And I have this. So this is what they want. I've saved this already. Done. On a separate worksheet in your workbook, using appropriate worksheet name and import the data from the file M23 sizes. M23 sizes. So I'm going to open this. So I have this M23 sizes. This is it here. So I'm going to what? What did they say? I'm going to import the data from the file on a separate worksheet in your workbook. So in this workbook, we're going to create another worksheet, and we should give what? We should give an appropriate worksheet name. So this is what? You don't have to think too much. Well, this is what? This is called what? These are sizes. So I'm just going to copy this, copy it, and come here, right? Just click on the plus, or you can come here to insert, whichever one you want to do, and then type sizes, and then we can paste it. Done. And then we can also give an appropriate name here. We can also give an appropriate name here for this other one. So what's the name here? Tiles. So we can give tiles here. Tiles. Again, you don't have to think too much about it. So this is an appropriate worksheet name. So this is done. We want to know, let's know what we've done. We've done this. Now they said examine the data, this data. Enter formula in column C. So I've done this. I think I can close this. Don't save. All right. In column C, to display the size of each tile as length by width. For example, if the tile has a length of 60 and a width of 30, the cell should display 60 by 30. Can you see that? 60 by 30. So we're going to use what we call concatenate because we want to join them together. So we have equals to concatenate, right? That's what concatenate does, is to join strings together. So concatenate. So I'll click here, right? Comma, right? I have X here, comma, I have width here. So I hit on enter. Let me see. Now it will show name. Why? Because we didn't put this as what? Here as a string. So I'll put quote here. Done. Now look at this. It's showing 120 by 120. But what they have here, there's a space here. Can you see this space here? So we need to add this space. So to do this, I'll come here, give a space here, give a space here. So if I do this, this is what they want. Can you see that? So now I can just replicate this. Double click to replicate. So let me stop here. Okay, so we don't need this. This way needs to stop. So I hope that makes sense, right? And I hope you're learning. So I have this, so I can just save my work. So this is done. This is done. This is done. In the worksheet created in step 1, this is step 1. If you're wondering, let me zoom in. I want you to see everything. Good. Make sure the cell B5 can only contain a blank cell, or the letters Y or N in uppercase or lowercase. In uppercase or lowercase. So we're going to add what? B5, a data validation, because we want to restrict the cell to accept either Y or N in uppercase or lowercase. So I'll come here to data validation, change this to list. So I have this as Y, comma, N, comma, Y, comma, N. Sorry, N. Now look at what they said. They said contain a blank cell, okay? Add appropriate text for the user. Appropriate text here simply means informing the user, enter letter Y or N. Okay, it can be any of them, right? So this Y here can be enter letter Y for yes or N for no, right? Or you can say enter letter uppercase Y and or lowercase y for yes, or uppercase Y, or uppercase N or lowercase n for no. So whichever one you want to do, right? Now, what would be if I want to add a title here? We already have a title here, so I can just add this. Is there a window? Is there a window? Is there a window in the wall? Okay, so let me do this. I'll click on what? Now again, if they don't, they said appropriate what text for the user. So if they put Y, it should show. If they put N, it should show. But if they put something else, we should have an error alert to say the cell only accepts Y or N. Try again. Okay. Now it could just give you data entry error as a title. Data. Okay, let me put this. All right. So we have this, right? So now they said what did they say again? They said do not include a drop down menu. So I'll come here to my settings and I'll uncheck this. I'll uncheck this and I'll click on what? Okay. So now is there a window in the wall? Enter letter Y for yes or N for no. So we could do this. Or if I put anything else like D, it tells me the letter only accepts Y or N. Try again, right? So I can do that. So I can come here to Y and it's going to accept it. Okay, so this is done. Step 4, in cell B7, make sure that the user can select from a drop-down list containing the size of the tile from step 2. Look at this one here, the size of this tile from step 2. Okay, so they can now, a drop-down list contain the size. So we're going to do data validation. So data validation, change it to what? List. And under the source, come here to sizes, and then you can select this. Then click on OK. Click on a drop down. Okay. Click on OK. So now we have them here. All right. So this is done. In cell B8, make sure that user can select from a drop down list containing only landscape and portrait. This cell must not be blank. So data validation list. So I have landscape. I have to type it exactly the way it is, comma, portrait. Landscape, portrait. This cell must not contain a blank. So I'll uncheck this and I'll click on what? Okay. So now we have this. So this is done. Step 6. Enter a formula in cell B13. This B13 here. That uses the orientation of the tile and the tile size to display the horizontal tile size. For example, if the tile is 60 by 30, so let's do that. 60 by 30. Okay. And is in portrait orientation. So let's know what I'm doing. Portrait. Okay. The cell should display 30. So here should display a 30. Okay. Now, what they are simply saying here is this. If the title was in landscape orientation, right, the cell will display 60. So under the if it's landscape, if I change it to landscape, what happens? This should display what? 60. Can you see that? That's what they want. If the title of the landscape, the cell will display what? 60. But if it's in portrait, it will display what? 30. So let's do that. So here we have this. Permit me to do a little bit of drawing. So we have a portrait here. This is a portrait. Don't laugh, right? Don't laugh at my drawing. It's not bad. Then this is landscape, right? So here, this is the width. Here is the width. Here is the what? Height, right? The width and height, or the length. This is the length. So if you see this here, the length is the longest side. So you see, this is the length here. This is the width for portrait, right? For a landscape, this is the length. This is the width. So this is like 30. This is like 60. This is like 60. This is like 30. So now what they're now saying here is, if it's 60 by 30 and is in portrait, the cell should display what? For horizontal, right? For horizontal, for portrait, what will it display? 30, right? And if it's in landscape, if it's in landscape mode, what happens? It should display what? 60. Why would it display 60? Because the horizontal point here, this is the horizontal point here, right? This is the horizontal. Now, horizontal in portrait and horizontal in landscape is different. Take note, it's different. Now, they're looking for the horizontal tile size. The horizontal tile size here is what? This horizontal is 30. The horizontal tile size the horizontal tile size in portrait is 30. The horizontal tile size in landscape is 60. Are you with me? Now, if this was the vertical, which is straight, in portrait, it should be 60. In landscape, it should be 30. So there is an opposite size when it changes for horizontal, and because here is horizontal part, here is the vertical. Horizontal, vertical. So there's a kind of like a trade-off. So how do we achieve this? Now, the first thing we need to do that we need to look up this, because this simply means that everything boils down on what? On the tile size. So we need to look the tile size from here to now say, okay, if it is 60 over 30, for the horizontal, it should display this. Okay, so let's do that. So here I have this equals to x lookup. I'm going to use x lookup for that. Lookup value is going to be this, comma. What's the lookup array? The lookup array is going to be this, comma. What do we want to return? Now, for us, what we want to return is a condition. It's a condition because when it's portrait, it should display this. The horizontal should display this. When it's landscape, it should display this. So there's a condition. So here we have if. What's the logical test? The logical test is if this is equals to what? Portrait, right? Comma. Then the horizontal point for me, it should be this, right? Comma. But if it's not horizontal, right? If it's not horizontal, then give me the length here, which is going to be this. So I'm going to close it, right? So, and I'm going to close everything. So this becomes what my return array. I'm going to close it, comma, not found. Yes, I can just do empty, comma. This is going to be an exact match. And I'll hit on my enter. So now we have this. Now, if I change it to landscape, good. That's what it's going to give me, 60. So we have this. That's what they want. Because if it's going to be portrait, look at what they said. It should be what? 30. But if it was a landscape, it should be 60. Why? Because we're looking at the horizontal part of it. So the horizontal for portrait is 30. The horizontal for landscape is 60. Does this make sense? Good. Enter a formula in cell B14. We're looking for the vertical part now. That uses the orientation of the title and the title size and the orientation of the tile and the tile size to display the vertical tile size. So it's the same thing, almost the same thing. So here, right? Now there are two ways to do this. Two ways to do this. The other one could be, we could now say, okay, for the vertical, if this is equals to landscape, leave it the way it is. Right? Leave it the way it is. And then it will do what? An opposite. Now, let me do this. Let me make this an absolute. Fn plus F4, because this is a range from a lookup, F4, Fn plus F4. So now, I'm going to do the same thing here. So I can now say, okay, equals to X lookup. Two things I want to show you. X lookup, and this will be lookup value, comma. The lookup array is going to be this. The return array is going to the if. What's the logical test? This right here. If it equals to what? Landscape, then what will be the true? It will be this, comma, or this. Because not found empty, then we have this. So now you see that. So if I change it now to portrait, it's going to reflect. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is this. That's one way to do it. I'm still going to use this to explain it again. I'm still going to use this to explain it. So here, it will now be equals to X lookup. This is the what? Lookup value, comma. Highlight this, comma. If what? If this is equals to portrait, right? Comma. Now, we're not saying that for the vertical, if it's portrait, then it should give me the length, right? The height here, not this one first, this one. So I'll come here to now say this. Comma, or else you give me this. Close it, comma, exact match. So I can make this absolute because it's a lookup range, Fn plus F4, and then highlight this, Fn plus F4, and then highlight this, Fn plus F4, and then hit on enter. So this is what we have. So now we're not saying that we're finding this first. For the horizontal, we looked at what? The horizontal. So if I change this now to landscape, look what happens. It changes because now it's looking at, can you see that? For the vertical in landscape, it's 30. But for the portrait, it's 60, which is what we have here. For the landscape, can you see that? So this is 60, and for what? The vertical is 30. So this is what we want. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on. So this is done. A lot, and you're like, okay, do you have a private tuition? Don't you have? Do you have? And yes, Ajiro Tech do have a private tuition. So by my right, you can see that we have for the EdExcel and Cambridge IGCSE, and yes, we do have for all subjects. Okay, all subjects. Okay, the popular ones that's always been in demand is mathematics, English language as a second language. Okay, we have physics, we have biology, we have chemistry, and we have um, you know the flagship, which is ICT, just here and there. We also have business studies. So if you're interested for a private tuition, I think all you have to do is send an email to the sales team at ajirotech@gmail.com, and they would reply to you, talk about your time zone, talk about, and the fee is really quite affordable. Really, it's really quite affordable. It's when you look at it across other tutoring service, I think this is the one that's quite affordable, and you get the very best of service. We also have for the E levels as well, and also for the EdExcel. So we have for the Cambridge E levels and EdExcel E levels. Okay, and we have also across the subject mathematics, which is usually the hot cake when it comes to E level, mathematics and chemistry, and then biology. These are usually one of the ones we have in demand always, all the time, even physics, for E level. So all you have to do, if you're watching this right now and you are interested for a private tuition, then you can do yourself a solid, okay, and send an email to the sales team at ajiro@gmail.com, and they will reply to you. Step 7. Enter a formula in cell B16 to calculate the number of tiles. B16 to calculate numbers of tiles required for a wall. With no window. Okay, so this is a wall with no window. All right. To calculate the number of tiles on a wall, the tiler calculates the number of tiles required horizontally. So it will do horizontally, multiply by this number required vertically. Now look at what they said. They said 1 meter is equals to what? 100 centimeter. So if 2 meter is going to be what? Tell me in the comment section. 200 centimeter. It's not rocket science, right? Okay, it's not. So 200 centimeters. Great. So now this simply means that now we have this here. So we have the length of wall and we have the horizontal tile size. Look at what they said. They said to calculate the tile on a wall, the tiler calculates the number of tile required horizontally. So that includes the length of the wall and the tiles that you're going to use for that for the length for the wall. So, but now, if they are doing 3 meters, we are converting it to what? To centimeters. So this is going to be equals to this right here. For us to now convert it, this will be what? Multiplied 100. Why? Because we know that to convert to centimeter, we'll multiply by what? 100. And I give you, that's 2 times 100 is 200, right? We will now have to divide with what? The horizontal tile size, because we want to now know if we have 3, if the length of wall is 3, how many tiles are we going to use? If it's 5, how many are we going to use? So that simply means that the length of wall divided by what? The horizontal tile size. So if you have, whatever you have, if it's 60 you have, right? For the horizontal tile size that you're going to use, or whatever you have budget for. If you're doing 60 by 30, right? If you're doing a 60 by 30, that simply means that the tile with no window would need this, while the one with window will need this. If you are doing 50 by 50, this is what you need. If you are doing 120 by 120, this is what you need. 120 by 120 simply both the horizontal and vertical is a square. Are we together? Good. So we're now saying that the length of the wall here divided by this for horizontally for this first. So here you can see that when the length of the wall is 3 and the horizontal tile size is in 60 centimeters, you only need 5 for 3 centimeters. I'm just explaining it so you can understand. Okay. Now they said if a tile has to be cut, it should count as a full tile used. So even if we are cutting it, they should see it as a full one. That simply means that we need to round it up to full one. We have to round it up. So here we see that we have this, and then we're going to what? Round up. We're going to round up. Because even if it's cut, we need to it needs to count as a full. So we comma, round it off. What round up does, it takes everything to 1, to a whole number. It increments it to a whole number. So we have this. So now we have 5. Okay. Now, so we have done for horizontally. Now let's do for what? Vertically. Notice we're multiplying this by the number vertically. So we'll now multiply it. Multiply. Let's do for the vertically. So this would now be, right? This would now be this multiply, because it's in meter, we want to convert to centimeter. 100 divided by this. Right? We want to know the height of the wall. If we're using the height of the wall, how many the vertical tile size that is in 30, we're dividing. So we'll now know for horizontal and vertical, how many do we now need? Because we're going to cut. And you will see as a full. Because the tile we're cutting, we're doing 60 by 30. Right? Okay. Or whichever one we want to do. So now we have this. And then they said if a tile is cut, it should be seen as a full. So we're rounding up. We'll round up, comma, 0. Okay? So we have this. So we have 35. Both for the, we have multiplied the horizontally and the vertically. So for the length of a wall now, right? For both horizontal and the vertical is what? 35. For now. Then I said what? Add 5% to the numbers of tiles in case of a breakage. So add 5% in case of what? A breakage. So now when we talk about 5%, this is the tile is 100%. We're adding 5. So this will be seen as what? 105 divided by what? 100. Right? So this will be what? 1 point. You're adding 5. Of course, 100 divided by 100 is 1. Then you have 5%. Right? Which is 0.5. So 0.5. Okay? So now we're multiplying with what? Multiply by what? 1.05. Okay? And of course, we have to also round up. Okay? So we have to round up. and then come here and what? 0. So we have this. So at the end of the day, what we are having is what? 37. So now you can see in portrait is 42 we are having. It is in portrait. Okay. Now, this is done. Hope you understand. Now, enter a formula in cell B17. B17. Okay. Now, this is the one that has with window. We're not adding with window. To calculate the number of tiles required for a wall with a window, the tiler calculates the numbers of tiles for the whole wall. If it has to be cut, it will count as a full tile used. Okay, so we're using round up because again, this is for the whole wall, right? This is the one without wall, without window. Now, calculate the numbers of full tile that would have been used for the window area. Do not include any part tile. So again, what we are doing here is, here we have the one that, look at it, they said numbers of tile required for horizontally and multiplied by the number required vertically. Now this is for what? No window. So we're going to do the same here for the one that have what? Window. So to calculate numbers of full tiles that would have been used for the window area, do not include any part tile. So this simply means that even if we have 2.4, we are not to include this part. So if we're not including this part, this means what? We are rounding down. What? We're rounding down instead of rounding up because we're not including what? The part tile. So here we have the length of window. Now this is also in meters. So that simply means that 1 meter is equal to centimeter is what? 100 centimeters. So here we have this is going to be what? Equals to this multiply by the 100 to give us in centimeter divided by what? The horizontal, right? For this, and then we have this here. So this is for this, right? But now we need to round down. Can you see that? We are not to include this part of it. We're not to include this part. So we need to round down. Round down, and then, comma, 0. So now we have this. So you see that we're not including the what? They say do not include any part. So now I've done for horizontal. Let's now multiply with the vertical. Okay, so I'm going to multiply. So this is going to be this here multiplied by 100 to give us in centimeters divided by what? This. Right? And I'm going to what? Round down. Because we don't want any part of it. Okay, so we have that. So we have this multiplied with what? With that. Now, they now said, so I've done this part. They now said, subtract the numbers of tile for the window area from the numbers of tile for the whole wall. So we need to now subtract what we have in the window area from what we have from the whole wall. But now, if you note this is with the addition, right? So we can't subtract with it because this is the addition. So we need to subtract it with this. We need to subtract what we have with the window from this because this is for the whole wall. This is one that has no window. We have to now subtract from this. And to do that is just to copy this. I'm going to copy this, hit on enter. Then I will come here. They said subtract this from. If I say subtract 2 from 5, that's 5 minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to subtract this. I will come here, then paste it, then minus, then hit on what? Enter. So now we have what? 37. But that's not all. So I've done this. They said add 10% to the numbers of tiles in case of leakage, in case of breakage. If you break tiles, let's add extra to the case because again, the tiles are fragile, right? So now we have 100 here plus 10. This will give us what? 110 divided by what? 100. So for 100, we're moving 1, 2. So here we'll do 1, 2. So this is 1.10, which is like 1.1. Can you see that? So we need to what? Multiply it with 1.1. Now look at what they said. They said calculate the numbers of tiles for the whole wall. Now both for everything, right? If it has to be cut, it will count as a full tile use because now we have it for the whole wall and then we have it for what? The window. So if it has to be cut, it has to be counted as a full tile. So even if we have 2.4, you should see it as 3. You see it as what? 3. So this will be what? Round up. And then, comma. Number of digits is what? 0. So this is what we have. Okay. This is what we have. So now, let's proceed. So this is done. Okay. So hope that makes sense. Place formula in your spreadsheet so that if the tile is square, the content of cell A8 and B8 are not visible. So if we have it as square, the content of A8 to B8 is not visible. Why? Because this, when it's 60 by 30, is it portrait, is it landscape? So if we have it as square, like this, then this should not be visible. So how do we do this? So now here, I'm going to highlight what? A8, because 80 by 80 is square, 60 by 60 is square. A8 to what? B8. So I'm going to use a conditional formatting for it. So home, conditional formatting, there are two ways. Either you come here to new rules or highlight cells, more rules, right? Anyone works. If you're using a MacBook, highlight your cell rules, come here to more rules, right? And if you're using your Windows, you can come here to new rules, right? More rules, and then come here to what? Use a formula to determine which cell to format. So here we have this. This is going to be, look at it. Can you see that? You can see that this is what? A square. So that simply means that your horizontal tile size and your vertical size or your vertical tile size must be the same. If they're not the same, it means it's not a square. Because we have 80 by 80. So this, if this is equals to this, because they have to be the same. Okay, they have to be the same. If it's not the same, that's what it means. If this is equals to this, then format, the font here, not fill, font, is equal to what? A white text. Then click on what? Okay. This is what you need to highlight what you want to format. Then click on what? Okay. So now we have this. So if we change this here to this, we have this. But if we have 60 by 60 or 30 by 30, you see that it's not showing. Why? Because they are the same. Right? So that equals to means the same if they are the same. So square means the same. So we have done this. Place formula in your spreadsheet so that when the letter N is placed in cell B5, letter N, okay, what happens? The content of the cell in ranges A10 to C11, A10 to C11, and hold my control, A17 to B17 are not visible. So we have that. Okay, are not visible. So I'll come here to my conditional formatting, highlight new cell, more rules, use a formula. So we're now saying that here, if this, right, is equals to what? No. Okay, if it's equals to no, if B5, format, under the font, color, white. Click on OK. So we have it. Okay. So this is done. Place a formula in your spreadsheet so that when the letter Y, you change it to Y. Okay. Letter Y is placed in cell B5. The content of the cell in the range A16 to B16, A16 to B16 are not visible. So conditional formatting, highlight cell rule, more rule, use the formula. So here, if this is equals to what? In quote, Y, format, under the font, white, click on what? OK. So we have this. Okay. So if we change it to no, this is what we have. Can you see that? If we change it to yes, this is what we have. All right. So this is done. Save this spreadsheet with the file name tiles1 underscore followed by a center number underscore candidate number tiles1. So let me copy this. File, save as. Let me just browse, paste it. AN017 2025. Okay, we're saving it as what? Save this spreadsheet. All right, it's done. Step 10, test the spreadsheet with the following test data and save each test as a spreadsheet with the given file name followed by your center number underscore candidate number. So we have tiles 2 underscore your center number candidate number tiles 3. Okay, so we get it. Okay, so it's just to add the numbers. It's the same thing. Okay, file name tiles 2, a wall 3 centimeter long, a wall 3 centimeter long. Okay, 2 centimeter high. Okay, with no window. No. The tile size is 50 by 25. 50 by 25 centimeters. The tile will be set in landscape orientation. Landscape. The tile will be set in landscape orientation. So we've changed it to landscape. That's what we did. We changed it to landscape. And we have 3 meter long, 2 meter high, 50 by 25. Yes. So we can save this as what? File. Save as. Right here, you can come here to browse and then change it to what? 2. So this has been done. Styles 3. A wall 3 meter long and 2 meter high. So we have them here. With no window. Yes, with no window. The tile size is 30 by 30. 30 by 30. Okay, so let me save it. File, save as, browse. This is what? 3. Done. Style 4. A wall 5 meters long, okay, 5 meter long, 2.5 meter high, 2.4 meter high, with a window. It has a window, yes, 1 meter long, with a window 1 meter long, yes, 1.2 meter high, 1.2 meter high. Okay, the tile size is 60 by 30. 60 by 30. 60 by 30. This tile will be set in landscape orientation. So we have it in what? Landscape orientation. So this file, save as, browse, this will be 4. The same as style 4, with the same style set, that is 5, 2.4, 1, 1.2, in portrait orientation. This is going to be what? In what? Portrait orientation. So file, save as, browse, this is going to be 5. So this has been done, this has been done. Okay. Okay, so we have this. So at the end of the day, this is what we have here, right? Okay, so thank you very much. Hope you've been able to learn a lot, right, from our data validations, our lookup, um, complex formulas, conditional formatting, and then our testing of our data. So hope you've been able to learn, okay? And let me know in the comment section what new thing you've learned in this video. And do me a solid, share this with your friends, share this with your classmates so they can also learn with you. And why not? Make it a group study, right? And you guys can discuss about it and then see how best possible ways you can learn from it. And I want to hear from you in the comment section what confusions you're having, and we're going to attend to it as much as possible. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.